Welcome to Emotions and Stories. Today we start with a series of stories about Karan and his disasters. Karan is a normal 14-year-old boy who is a walking disaster in everything he does. We've handpicked some of his disastrous episodes just for you. So let's begin with our first episode of Karan and his disaster, Science and Explosion. Karan had always been fascinated by science experiments, but his enthusiasm often outweighed his actual understanding. It all started on a regular Tuesday in science class when his teacher, Mr. Sharma, assigned a simple baking soda volcano experiment. The goal was to demonstrate a small controlled reaction between baking soda and vinegar. But Karan, never one to settle for anything ordinary, had much grander plans. Determined to create the most spectacular eruption the school had ever seen, he raided the supply closet when Mr. Sharma wasn't looking and added extra vinegar, extra baking soda, and just for good measure, some dish soap and food coloring. His reasoning? More ingredients meant a bigger explosion. The logic was flawless, or so he thought. As he carefully mixed the ingredients into his volcano model, the liquid inside began to bubble ominously. Rohan, his best friend and unwitting accomplice, leaned over and whispered, Karan, are you sure about this? Karan grinned, eyes gleaming with excitement. Of course, this is going to be epic. And it was. Not just in the way he had intended. The extra ingredients started small, with a gentle fizzing. Then, within seconds, the foam began to rise rapidly. Before Karan could react, it overflowed, surging out of the volcano like a scene from a disaster movie. With a loud, squelching sound, it erupted into a towering geyser of pink foam, shooting up to the ceiling in an impressive but horrifying display of unintended chemistry. The first scream came from Sneha, who had been sitting closest to Karan's table. The foam, now cascading down in waves, splattered onto her notebook, her hair, and even her uniform. A chain reaction followed. Students scrambled away from the growing mess, knocking over chairs and sending textbooks flying. Mr. Sharma, who had been reading at his desk, looked up just in time to see the pink explosion coating the ceiling and dripping onto the floor. His expression morphed from confusion to sheer disbelief as a glob of foamy goo landed squarely on his glasses. Karan! He bellowed, but his voice was drowned out by the shrieks of students trying to escape the pink tidal wave. The chaos didn't stop there. The foam spread rapidly across the room, knocking over beakers, spilling test tubes, and covering several unfortunate students in its sticky embrace. In the midst of the pandemonium, Karan attempted to control the damage. Everyone stay calm, he shouted, grabbing a roll of paper towels. But it was futile effort. The foam was everywhere, and every attempt to wipe it only made things worse. Then came the final disaster, the fire alarm. The foams had somehow triggered the smoke detector, sending loud, blaring sirens through the school. Sprinklers activated, drenching the already panicked students and turning the lab floor into a slippery, soapy mess. Just when Karan thought it couldn't get worse, the principal stormed in. Mr. Mehta, a strict and imposing figure, took one look at the scene before him, students covered in pink foam, desk in disarray, Mr. Sharma standing like a statue with his glasses completely obscured, and immediately roared, "Who is responsible for this?" Silence fell over the room. Slowly, all eyes turned to Karan. He stood in the center of the disaster zone, still holding the now empty bottle of vinegar and paper towels. There was no escape, no way to talk himself out of it. He gulped and raised his hand sheepishly. Uh, uh, Sir, it might have been me, just a little. The entire class burst into laughter despite the chaos. Even Mr. Sharma, after removing his glasses and wiping them off, sighed in exasperation but couldn't hide a small smirk playing at his lips. The janitor was called in to clean up the disaster, and Karan was assigned the lovely job of assisting him after school. As he scrubbed the desks, he couldn't help but smile. Sure, he had caused chaos, but at least he had made science fun. Well, Karan, Rohan said, handing him another sponge. That was probably the most exciting science class ever. Karan chuckled, flicking some soap suds in Rohit's direction. You wait until the next time. I've got an idea involving dry ice and balloons. Oh no, Rohan groaned. We are so getting expelled one day. And with that, Karan's legend as the school's walking disaster continued. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Do wait for the next episode tomorrow and find out what he does next. Thank you.